So a crocheter writes, I'm not sure that I'm able to crochet and I can't seem to get a stitch into my head. What is the problem? Maybe I'm not meant for crochet. Can you have any advice? I do have advice for this because everybody's brains are different. So just because somebody can do it here doesn't mean somebody can do it here, or does it? So one of the things that I had to learn early on in my life is that I was a C, D, and E student, so basically a failure. And so my mom knew how to reach me because she realized that part of my issue with the learning isn't that I'm stupid, it's just the procedure to get it into my head to be able to function as a human was the challenge itself. And so I don't classify myself as dumb. However, the way that I think about things is really quite unique for me in order to memorize the steps and also to be successful. Throughout the years of crochet, I've never been able to be certified as a crochet teacher, and the fact is that I use too many memory hooks and too many slangy things in order to make it make sense. And one of the things that I learned early on is that if I could get the memory hooks, and I'm talking pre-crochet, get the memory hooks into my head, I could remember the steps a lot easier. So wrap and through, pull through, then 2 and 2 is the double crochet. So the way that I remember things is specific for me. So even though I show you memory hooks and I show you tips here on YouTube, the fact is that I'm not doing it for you. I'm doing it for myself so that I remember my steps because of the way that I learn. So if you're trying to learn crochet or knitting or anything and something is hanging you up in it, you don't have to look at the end result. You want to get there, but there's something along the journey that is broken for you because you can start, but there's something in the road that is stopping you to get to the end. So what you have to do is not look at the end, you have to look at where you're being stopped in the road and find out before the stop, is there something that happened before the stop that is causing you to do it? So you have to reverse your steps in order to look back to figure out what the future is going to be.
Get it right. Trying to find some balance in my life. I never really put up a fight, and now I'm losing sleep.
Yesterday, I spent 7 hours trying to understand the double point knitting, and it was really quite difficult. I could have quit so many times, but quitting is the easier solution. But in my case, I really want to learn. So I was missing a stitch every time I was going around, and I had 2 things that was happening. I was watching, and so I did this attempt, I don't know how many times, but what was happening is that my needles were so small is that the stitches were sliding off. I was like, you know, if only my needles were a bit longer, but I don't have longer ones. What else do I need to do? The design said only to use 3. I've used 4 instead because my needles are smaller. So that was one of my solutions. The other solution that I had to come up with is that when I was jumping from needle to needle, my orientation of the stitch was wrong. And I thought, if only there was a stitch on the new needle that I'm transferring to, and then it would all make sense for me. And I thought, oh my God, after 7 hours, I figured out that if I just put an extra stitch on the one and then transfer it to the next one, and then use that one to keep on going, my solution was made. But it was a matter of trying to find out where my roadblock is, where my questions are, so that I can look past that. I have another crochet example for you. Even though I've been crocheting for over 35 years, I still screw up on the half double crochet when a chain 2 equals a half double crochet at the beginning or at the beginning of a round or a row. I will always miss it. So in the tutorial said, if it were me, I'd maybe chain 1 and then half double crochet and then use that half double crochet as you're starting. Again, I'm not doing it for you. I'm doing it for myself because I'm teaching on camera. I know within myself is that I will miss that stitch when I come back around, and it will be very hard for me to show you, and therefore I'll be out of alignment. So what you have to do is, if there's something that's hanging you up in this whole process of the creative arts, you have to define your own rules in order for you to have success. Now, part of the reason why I can't get certified as well, not only is just the memory hooks, but I don't tell you that you should hold your hook and your yarn a certain way, because I don't think that's any of my business. Because if the outcome can be very similar to what everybody else is doing, you know, how you achieved it is basically up to you. I've learned in the yarn arts, if you're gonna screw up, keep screwing up in the same way, because then it will never be wrong. And so some people can go like years and years and years, and you can leave a comment to this, of doing it differently than everybody else, just to have an epiphany of realizing that you were doing it wrong, but it still looked right and you were still happy with the results. A great thing for me is 20 years in the Catherine wheel stitch, I've never realized I had a chain 3 before creating the wheel. And so my wheels are always this very heavily textured, almost kind of like a rotation spiral that was really amazing. And I never realized until 20 years later, oh my God, I should have been chaining 3. But because I was doing it always the same way, and because I like the look, to me, it never looked wrong. So you have to understand in the creative arts is that we always think of perfection, but the reality is that's not what creativity is. Creativity is finding your own expression on the way that you do things. So I would get off this whole idea that other people are like better than you, because that doesn't exist. That's your own thinking to do that. And some people may tell you that, but they don't know much. So just go with just grab a drum and start beating it to your own rhythm and figure it out. And sometimes things are too hard and you have to know when to hold and when to fold, but it is very easy, especially yesterday with my whole 7 hours. I could have quit, but I knew that people know how to do that. And I see people at the Stitch Club and they're just, you know, yapping away doing it. I'm like, you know what? There's something in my roadblock. What is that roadblock? Let's see if we can move that out of the way by understanding how we get there.